Okay. Hi everyone, morning. Thanks for those of you who've joined us. We're live in the Regal Kitchen showroom this morning. This is Louise Simpson from Louise Simpson Coaching. Today we're going to look at space saving in kitchens and some storage solutions and stuff like that.
Absolutely. And you may be wondering kind of, well, what do I know about kitchens? Obviously, Emma is Mrs. Kitchens. I work as a professional organiser, and you will often find me organising people's kitchens. Kitchens are that place in the home that, you know, the homework gets done. When there's a party, everybody gathers. It's such a busy room in the house. That's why it's important for it to be a place that you feel good in, but equally is organised.
Yeah, so we might as well make a start. Should we start having a little look at some of the things that we can do to save some space in the kitchen? I don't know if you want to check your live feed on Instagram just quickly on there. I'm going to quickly just bring you over here. We're going to look at some things that you might want to put into a small kitchen to help you save some space. So what we pride ourselves on at Regal is being able to hide things behind the door and make the kitchen work a little bit better for you. So one of the little ideas I've got here works really well if you've got a galley kitchen, so you haven't got a lot of room for working space. We've got things like this, which is a pull-out worktop, which you can use in any kitchen really, but it's especially good if it is a galley kitchen, you haven't got any room for things like that. And I've also got something quite special hiding here, which is a pull-out ironing board. So this just fits inside the drawers. You don't have to worry about trying to store it in a large cupboard anywhere. It can just come straight out of the drawer and you can use it straight away. Louise has got some things that she'd like to show you.
So one of the big things that I always talk about in organising generally, but definitely in kitchens, is if you're maybe not ready to change your kitchen and you just have to work with what you've got, is about using the full height and depth of your cupboard. Because often when I go in and people say, I just don't have space for anything, start opening all the cupboards and there's just all this dead space in between shelves. So for example, you've got lots of different things that you can use depending on the storage of your storage space in your kitchen. So turntables or lazy susans are great. You can use them in your fridge for all your jars of jam and things like that, so that you can use the depth of there. They equally work well in cupboards like this, or if you've got a corner cupboard, so that you can use them. And these high-sided ones are great because if you've got taller bottles like oils and things like that, it keeps them all nice and snug and doesn't let them fall over when you spin it. And my children like to do the test at home of spinning them as fast as possible to make sure that when I say things like this is actually true. Equally using things like Tupperware containers. So if you've got, you know, kids' snacks or nuts or things like that that you need to store, ones like this that are actually stackable on top of each other, again, you can just put two together, or if you've got a deeper cupboard, you can actually put more. And these, you know, these ones just sit on top of each other, these actually click together. So if you've got smaller things in there like baking ingredients and stuff like that, that's a great way of just storing them in a cupboard. You can stack them as high as you need, shove them to the back of the cupboard. And then my favourite, so you can use any box for this. I've had clients that don't want to buy plastic boxes, that we've just used cardboard boxes, and they've got the kids to decorate them as their snack box. But just to contain those pesky kid snacks or the late night mum snacks, if you're a fan of those, and it just lets you see what's in there. You can see how much you need to get when you go for shopping. Kids, you know, you can put them at a height that they can reach, and they can get their own snacks out and get their lunch boxes and things like that ready. And again, you know, you can fit that into a cupboard, nothing's falling over, it takes up the whole space, but it's easy to get out.
They're really easy. They're a really nice idea.
And then, you know, you've got things like this as well, that you can use these for tins, water bottles, anything like that that tends to fall over or that you want to stack up. Again, these just sit on top of each other. So, you know, if you're working with somebody like Emma at Regal Kitchens to get your kitchen designed, you'd have things like this built in, but you can use these in so many ways. You can use them individually. These are another example. These are the iDesign ones that are all the clear perspex. You can use them to stack things in there. These are also great for in your fridge. So you can have different ones for cheese and meats and things like that. So that, again, it's easy to see what you've got, what you need to buy, but equally it's all just stored so it's not all just falling over in a complete mess.
Excellent. While I've got you in that cupboard, I'm just going to quickly show as one of the storage solutions that we've got underneath. So this one's actually a bin. So this is a smaller bin, so it makes really good use of a base unit because you can pull the smaller bin out on the bottom. I don't know if both of you want to come in and have a little look at the bin that's just inside the cupboard. So these aren't just to be used for rubbish, the kind of plastic that they're made out of is food safe as well, so you can use them to store things like dog food, potatoes, rice, other vegetables, things like that. But then you still get use of the shelf above as well, so they can be really useful if you're using them in the kitchen.
It's got one thing in here to show, and then we'll want to move into that. So again, this is obviously a pull-out shelf, but you could use this in your kitchen drawers or in a cupboard. And then this is again iDesign, and it's a kind of stackable storage tray. So you could put these individually in a drawer like that if you had the depth, in a cupboard if you needed to. But again, you can see kind of just a range of things that you could store in there. All those things that you kind of end up kind of rifling through the drawer trying to find, they all get jumbled up. That all just clips on there, you can slide it up and down if you need to, and then pop it away in your drawer or in your cupboard.
Really useful. Right, okay, then I've got another storage solution here to show you. So this is a storage solution from Vorsägel. It's called a VS Tool. So it works really well in quite a narrow space. This one's only 30 centimetres wide, so 300mm. And it's got 5 shelves, each of which hold 15 kilos on each, so really good for holding sort of pantry items, things like beans and cans of soup and things like that. But the accessibility is really good, especially for children as well. So I've actually got one of these at home. The children have all of their snacks in there. It's really easy for them to get access to all of that stuff. So that's something else that we can install in the kitchen for you. I also just wanted to touch on using an island and doubling it up for not just seating but for storage as well. So this is quite a large island that we've got on display in here, but we've also tried to incorporate lots of cupboard space into it as well. So we've got a seating area on it, but we've also managed to put lots of storage in it as well. So it just means that it can double up as your seating area and your storage.
Yeah, and you know, kitchen islands are one of those places that often when I go in for a kitchen, people go, I need you to start with the island in the kitchen because it's just become a dumping ground. And it is because they've had an island fitted, or they've inherited a house with an island that has absolutely no storage. So in effect it becomes just another table, but it's where all the homework gets left, the post gets left, the dirty dishes that the kids have brought down from their bedroom that can't quite make it to the sink. You know, it tend to become that dumping ground. So it's really important that obviously as you put in an island of your own, you do think about how can you implement storage, because the more you can have these little hidden areas of storage that you can use, it's just a great way to use your space more effectively. And these are some of the examples that if you haven't got that wonderful built-in storage, you again can use these within your cupboards or drawers, whatever you need. So rather than just having all the plates on top of each other and the bowls on top of that, and then you get the clang every time you ask the children or your partner to get the dinner plates out for dinner and they're all just like banging around, you can use these inserts that you can then split the plates and bowls, and again that means that you're using the full height of your cupboard. This is an example of just like a insert shelf. So if, for example, you had a cupboard like this that was a bit higher but you needed to use the full height, these just stand in there and you can use them for jars or pots, but you can equally use them for things like coffee cups. Again, coffee cups are one of those things that when I do a kitchen, we realise that most people have about 30 or 40 different kitchen cups that they don't really ever use. How often do you really ever have 30 or 40 people around for coffee? But it's a great way to store them. And again, like we were talking about water bottles, all the mums out there, and even people that are just sporty, water bottles are a pain in the neck because they're the sort of thing that you put in the cupboard, you go to get one out, then they all fall over, and then they just get shoved back in the cupboard, and it's like a race to see how quickly you can shut the door before everything falls out. So again, using something as simple as one of these boxes, I mean, you can get storage boxes like this absolutely everywhere now, from the supermarket to, you know, you can go as far as the iDesign Clear Perspex, but if it's going in your cupboard and it's not really going to be on show, you just need something that's practical. And this is a great example. I mean, yes, they move around a little bit, but they're not going to fall over. If you've got loose lids, they can be contained inside the bottom if they don't quite fit in. And you can have, you know, at home we've got things like this, and the children have a box each, and they've got a snack box each. So it's like whatever's in there is yours, and it's up to you to put it away. And then it just goes away back into the cupboard, and you're using that space more effectively rather than having to take up more of that shelf to put the bottles in one big line. You're using the full depth of the cupboard.
Yeah, they're really helpful. But we're going to move